Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacob and I'm attempting to become the youngest German-speaking person to sail around the world solo. But not taking the easy route, instead going around the legendary Cape Horn. Over the last several years, sailing vessel Wolf was prepared for this voyage. After crossing the Bay of Biscay and coming into Muros here on the Galician coast to repair my engine, I've been here for 28 days now, way longer than I ever wanted. I must admit that I lost track of time a bit and it is now highly on time to make some miles again. But the experiences here were just absolutely amazing. The little town here on the coast with the people, just absolutely amazing, and the visit to Santiago de Compostela in episode 10 was just an experience that's absolutely stuck with me. In this episode we finally set sail again, but something which I'm not used to anymore, a day trip, about 40 nautical miles from Muros along the Galician coast down to Vigo, and we also meet some amazing people along the way. Before I leave, there's a huge duathlon taking place, a thing which I can't miss as a bike fanatic. Even though Muros has become my favorite place since the start of this adventure, it is now highly on time to move on. And with that, good morning. I'm leaving Muros right now. The town behind me there was an absolute amazing time there, a lot of work, but an absolutely amazing time. Amazing place, absolutely loved it with the bike. But yeah, it is time to move on now, and very unusual for this channel, but that is just a day trip down to Vigo, about 40 nautical miles, and I'm sailing together with another yacht which left about 20 minutes ago, sailing yacht Marco Polo, and they're also going to Vigo. We said to meet up there, and they're a bit in front of me, so yeah. The Marco Polo is already about half an hour ahead of me, as they left earlier, so let's see if we can catch them. We gain miles on Marco Polo, which is now visible in front of Wolf's bow. So we are doing an absolute amazing speed of 6 to 7 knots, just absolutely amazing. Actually more wind than I expected. I thought about getting the Channel Crab after leaving port, but glad I didn't, because gusts are pretty strong actually, so the wind is coming from there. And through that tunnel between the mountains back there, I think it is actually accelerated, so forecasted are up to 10 knots. Doesn't sound and look fast, but I think those are like 15 to 20 knots, so but absolutely amazing. And I'm glad I'm on the move again. Finally, I've been in Muros for longer than I planned. I planned for a week or so, but I've been there for 28 days now. 28 days. So there's a fishing boat, a small one, over there, and a little like orange ball or something. I can't see it anymore, but somewhere over here. So I don't know if he has a net like dragging behind him, which goes from him to over there, or if that's just some fishing gear stuff. Yeah, there it is, there it is, there it is. Those fishing buoys will become a greater enemy as we get more south along the European coast. I just did a jibe now to get a bit clear of the rocks over there. And the wind is so little that when we go like broad reach, sails are mostly just flapping, so I don't want to get too close to that. Okay, let's do a jibe again. I think we've got clear here enough. We're going in the other direction, which we have to. And we're back on autopilot, and we've made a perfect cut here around the stones which are just in front of us. We're doing 6 to 7 knots now. I don't really know where Wolf is taking that speed from because the wind isn't that strong, but I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm doing something different now, getting a coffee.
And this brings us to the sponsor of this video, OutIn with their portable espresso machine. I absolutely love coffee, not only the drink itself, but just the whole culture and feeling around it. The OutIn Nano is battery powered and you can charge it over 12-volt USB, which takes a lot of load off my batteries. It comes in a beautifully designed package with everything you need to make your coffee, either using ground coffee or pods. The OutIn Nano really has become one of my most important items basically in my galley, and especially in heavy weather. I'm at no point of time in contact with boiling water.
So I got some ground coffee here. Now let's put a bit of water in the top here. So I'm gonna use 70 milliliters now for a double espresso. And since I'm near the coast, I can't stay below that long, so because it's portable, we can just take it outside in the cockpit. Okay, and here we have our absolutely delicious espresso. Let's enjoy that with the coast over there. Just amazing.
On their website you can choose from a lot of different colors, whichever one suits you the best. And if you use the first link in the video description and the code JAKOBLANGSAILING at checkout, you can get 10% off your purchase, and you also support my channel. So thank you OutIn Nano for sponsoring this video.
Can't change it, I just have to use the engine now to get clear, or at least by those rocks. We're doing 1.4 knots, so on goes the engine. I have to say I'm a bit tense now with the engine. Until now it works, but yeah, I've taken apart the whole fuel system and put it back together. I hope that I didn't oversee anything. I've tested it for about half an hour on various RPMs, from idle at 800 RPM up to 3000 RPM in port. And on the port side here we now have the Cabo Curebo, I think it is called, with its lighthouse. Amazing little lighthouse there. Just love the coast here. So I can't see Marco Palo on the AIS anymore. Probably because his signal is like blocked or something here. And once again I'm walking around the deck without my life vest on. That is really a bad habit, and a lot of people actually comment that, quite right. That is a bit fascinating. I'm doing the inshore way now and going basically through between two rocks here, one on the port and one on the starboard side. And the one on the starboard side here is below the water surface, but you can clearly sometimes see the waves breaking over it. Can't imagine what that must look like below the water, because we have 43 meters below us now, and that is just to the starboard side here. So that whole thing must be like a building, I don't know, 10-story, 15-story building or something like that, because it must really be a like tower of rocks below the water, 40 meters high. Amazing.
While I closely watch the chart and the surroundings, we maneuver our way through the many underwater rocks, some visible, others not.
Okay, that's great. I just saw two yellow buoys balls, those fish things, come up here after the boat. So I've gone straight through that, didn't see those. Am I dragging something? I must gone through a... On the first look I can't see that I'm dragging a net or something. That would not be great if I would have gotten that, or if I got that into my prop. That would actually pretty bad here near the coast. Those fish things really are, you can't see them. At night that is just a game of luck when you're next to the coast. And daylight, when there are a bit waves, you can't spot them. You really have to be lucky to spot those things.
Luckily, it seems like I have not gotten a fishing net or whatever was attached to that buoy into my propeller, which would have been dramatic half a mile next here to the coast and the rocks. After this little shock, it is time for dinner, while Wolf continues motoring south.
The Galician coast is just absolutely epic. All the little towns, places, mountains, and we're passing the Ile de Ons. I'm very sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrect, probably, but just over there, and there's a lighthouse, don't know the name. There's a lighthouse over there, and that's just, from here looks like pretty much the only building on that island. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
As you can remember, I'm chasing the Spanish boat Marco Polo down to Vigo. As it will turn out later, the guys on board have quite a story to tell about this lighthouse. But first, Wolf and I have to make it to Vigo, and after 4 hours under engine, it looks like the wind is finally back.
So I think I can try to hoist the sails now. A bit too much downwind now for those, I don't know, 8 knots or something. But if I go a bit to starboard here, then I'm not going directly towards Vigo, but I have to jibe. Anyways, I think I can actually set sails and go under sail then. So let's try that.
Wolf's sails get set and the engine finally turned off.
So I have to jibe my way into Vigo now through that passage right there, which is on the plotter, that one here, and so I probably have to jibe now to get around the north side of that absolutely amazing looking rock here. Reminds me a bit of photos from Cape Horn.
We jibe our way by the north side of the Ilatias, which is a part of the archipelago of Atlantic Islands in Galicia and nature reserve area. Because of the traffic system of the entrance to Vigo, I have to keep Wolf and me between the mainland and the traffic zone, so a lot of jibes are done.
This is Marco Polo calling you over. Channel 08, Jaco, please, channel 08 over.
Marco Polo, Wolf is reading, or?
You know, in the marina that I told you in Muros, there is no place. We go to Nautico de Vigo. You copy, over?
Marco Polo, sailing as Wolf, copy, Nautico Vigo, over?
That's right, man. Okay, I wait for you here. See you soon. Bye-bye.
I got these photos of Wolf and me in an email from Guillermo, who apparently watches my videos, and I think it was this boat to my port side, just in front of the city there, so thank you Guillermo, amazing. After this short but absolutely amazing sail, it is now time to prepare Wolf for the marina. So I deploy the fenders, get the sails down and motor the last miles into the marina directly in the city center, where the guys from the Marco Polo are already waiting. Yes, they were a bit faster than me. The city of Vigo has a deeply anchored maritime history, which is present to this day. With about 294,000 inhabitants, the city is one of the centers of sailing sports here on the Spanish Atlantic coast. Wolf is resting in the Nautico de Vigo Yacht Club directly in front of the casino in the city center. And as I told you earlier, Kike from the Marco Polo has one hell of a story to tell.
Bueno, mi nombre es Kike Abati. Kike is the nickname of Henry, el alias de corto de Enrique. Y bueno, soy el farero jubilado, recién jubilado del faro de la isla de Ons, en la ría de Pontevedra, aquí en Galicia. Y nada, y acabamos de pasarlo navegando y estamos en el puerto de Vigo. Y nada, pues el faro es uno de los mejor conservados de España por estar en isla. Ha tenido pocas intervenciones y prácticamente se mantiene original desde que se construyó en 1926. Cuando nosotros entramos en el faro en el año 84, el faro utilizaba todavía el mismo sistema de alimentación que cuando se construyó en el año 1926. El sistema de rotación de la óptica era mecánico, era un peso de 300 kilos de plomo que había que remontarlo, había que subirlo arriba del todo y con una máquina de relojería, como un reloj, ¿no? Pero una caja con engranajes que iban desmultiplicando, el peso iba bajando lentamente y producía la rotación. En nuestro caso, como la altura de la torre no era mucha, teníamos una autonomía de 6 horas de rotación, ¿no? El peso iba bajando y duraba 6 horas. Y en las noches de invierno, que tenías 14, 15 horas de luz, pues tenías que remontar el peso 2 o 3 veces por la noche, ¿no? Esa era otra misión para que no se te quedara parado el faro. Cosas, teníamos la toma de datos meteorológicas, también teníamos una especie de observatorio. Teníamos un registro de casi todas las variables meteorológicas, que eso se hacía a diario también. Y nada, fundamentalmente esa fue nuestra misión hasta que en el año 1989 pasamos de la tecnología más antigua a la más moderna. Pero no. Y entonces, en aquella época ya se empezaban a desarrollar paneles fotovoltaicos y empezaban a tener una potencia que nos permitía tener una autonomía invernal decente, ¿no? En cualquier caso, como no lo teníamos muy claro, pues hicimos una instalación con grupos electrógenos de apoyo por si alguna noche de invierno no llegaba, los días de insolación aquí en Galicia a lo mejor pues estaban 30 días seguidos sin sol potente para cargar, pues teníamos unos grupos electrógenos que a través de un sistema de carga de baterías pues apoyábamos a los equipos para seguir funcionando con tranquilidad. Esa fue otra fase, y la última fase de todo fue montar una lámpara de LEDs de altísima potencia. Ahora mismo está funcionando el faro de Lons con un LED de altísima potencia, uno solo.
Amazing.
Hola.
Hola.
Good trip, Jaco. I hope you have a very good trip. Enjoy it
Thank you.
and keep safe always.
Yes.
Safety first, you know.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Definitely.
Don't smoke.
The next day, it is sadly time to say goodbye again, as the guys return to Muros. This whole amazing story only came out when I was invited on board in the evening after we arrived here. Also, my time has now come to prepare to continue my journey. And have I told you that I'm moored directly in front of the casino here?
A state of emergency has been declared in Spain after mass blackouts left millions of people in the dark.
Spain, Portugal and some of southwest France suffered a massive power outage.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what we know so far?
Spain remains in a state of emergency tonight after one of the biggest electrical blackouts in Europe's history.
So it is the second night here now, and there is still no power in the whole city. So outside it is completely dark. The whole city, that is not a small city. I think Vigo, I don't know how many exactly, but around 200,000 inhabitants, I think. So it's not a little town, it's a city, and that whole city, the complete city, is dark. Dark. Just dark. Never ever in my life before have I seen that. You probably won't see anything outside now. There. In front of the lens now is the city. In front of the lens was the city. And also my cell phone service is completely down basically. That is just so absolutely surreal.
I'm in the middle of the city right now. Normally there's cars going by, nightlife. Absolutely nothing. A few cars going by, a few motorcycles, some police cars from here on now. But otherwise, just here on my bike.
In the middle of the normally lit up city, Wolf is the only light in the whole harbour. Just a cargo port on the other side of the bay is running on emergency generators.
Now to Europe, electricity is being restored across Spain and Portugal the day after a massive power cut. It caused disruption to millions of shops, homes and businesses and paralysed transport networks in both countries.
After about 13 hours, the electricity is finally restored in most parts of Spain again, and slowly life returns to the city. But this event really makes you think how vulnerable you are when the whole system just breaks down.
Good morning. So today's mission is trying to get a new gas bottle here, the typical blue camping gas bottles. And yesterday I've tried it the whole day in rain, in heavy rain. So it was raining the whole day, but it was somehow impossible to get it. After the 5th gas station I stopped counting. The first thing of course was asking the harbour master here of the yacht club where I can fill it up or change it or whatever. So the last thing I really need is gas on board before I can leave. And I have developed a bit of a plan. There's a charter company, the boats on the other side there, and I will first ask them, because when the chartered boats are given back they have to fill up the gas somehow, so they probably have to know where I can get gas.
Through the charter company I actually finally find a little hardware store which changes my gas bottle for a new one. A bit overseen by the tourists is the statue of Manuel Castro, which was a newspaper carrier and has become an icon of the city through his unique talent of balancing a newspaper on his fingertip. Unfortunately on his statue the newspaper was stolen. I really liked the few days here in Vigo, but now it's time to move on. After a food supply restock for the next days and buying some last remaining parts for the inverter installation, it's time for a 10 nautical mile sail to the neighboring town of Baiona, where I want to anchor for a few days to finish the inverter installation which I started back in Muros before I ultimately leave Spain. After 2 days of work, the inverter system with my new Victron Multiplus is finally up and running. Before I heave the anchor up and leave Europe, I want to take some last steps on Europe's mainland.
These are now probably the last steps on European mainland. Just in the dinghy here, and Wolf is just in front of there. So I think I found a boat for which I'm trading Wolf. I just have to find the owner here. So the hull basically looks absolutely like brand new. Also the paint and the rigging is especially amazing. Brand new carbon fiber rigging. Only the best from the best here. So yeah, that was it with Europe here. Those are the last steps here on the European mainland now. Amazing.
I have been in Europe for way longer than I planned, and I highly have to make miles to the south now. Europe says goodbye with a spectacular sunset on the evening before I heave my anchor. And the next day, the time has come to finally get properly moving again. But this is a story for another episode. In the next episode, we finally make proper miles again, pass through a huge thunderstorm at night, and against my plan, have to make another stop in Europe with autopilot problems. So with that chance, I decide to visit Lisbon as the now really last stop on Europe's mainland.